Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. The most successful Republican strategist of the past 25 years is now slamming Donald Trump. Karl Rove just published a column in the Wall Street Journal titled The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly of 2025. Rove wrote of Trump, "It appears he believes he can will people into agreeing with him by claiming his achievements are the biggest, best, and most amazing in American history. He's gone way too far by slapping his name on buildings, the Donald J. Trump and John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts, and government programs, the Navy's Trump-class battleship. He might receive a fawning reaction from his MAGA base, but the average American finds such narcissism off-putting. Presidents do best when they under-promise and over-deliver. The opposite, over-promising and under-delivering, angers voters. They often take out their anger at the ballot box. Voters are already taking out their anger at Donald Trump in public polling. Even in GOP-friendly surveys, Donald Trump's approval rating is in the mid-30s with a disapproval in the 60s. And Trump's own conservative media sycophants are alarmed.
I would think that Bad Bunny right now has a higher approval rating than most elected officials.
I'm a little shocked that Vance is higher than Trump right now. That's interesting, something that I think we couldn't have predicted at this time last year.
Vance's approval rating, though, is only a few points higher than Donald Trump's. And Vance is also underwater by more than 20 points. But back to Trump. We mentioned Karl Rove hammering Trump for his narcissism. The most successful Democratic strategist of the past 20 years, David Axelrod, is also honing in on the Trump problem.
He seems obsessed with gold and putting his name on things and remodeling buildings and rebuilding monuments to himself. And I think this is a huge political problem for him. It's a symbol of his distraction. It's the Marie Antoinette thing that he's got going. That is a big political problem. And not for him, as Charlie points out, he's not on the ballot in next November, but Republicans should be really concerned about what they're seeing.
On social media, Trump has been posting about his aesthetic changes across Washington, D.C. Quote, potential marble armrests for the seating at the Trump Kennedy Center, unlike anything ever done or seen before. On camera, Trump is now pairing his narcissism with evidence that Trump's grip on reality and his cognitive skills are turning to mush. Here is Trump on Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell.
We have a fool at the Federal Reserve. I mean, Biden reappointed him, and it's too bad. You would have thought he wouldn't have done that.
Jerome Powell is a fool, and Biden should not have reappointed him. Well, you know who appointed Powell to be Federal Reserve Chair in the first place? Donald Trump. Trump named Powell chairman in 2018 during Donald Trump's first term. At the same news conference the other day, Trump bragged about his White House ballroom and blurted out some gibberish about doing an inauguration there.
It's bigger than I told you. After realizing we're going to do the inauguration in that building, it's got all bulletproof glass. It's got all drone, they call it drone-free roof. So drones won't touch it. It's a big, beautiful, safe building. But it's a big project. For a tiny fraction of that, we're under budget and ahead of schedule. And they've wanted it for 150 years. Think of it, the Federal Reserve building, 2 buildings there, they don't know what they're doing.
Yes, Trump strangely compared his ballroom to the construction of a new Federal Reserve building. And the problem for Trump is that while millions of Americans are struggling to afford groceries, Trump is bragging about his ballroom, new marble in the Kennedy Center, and even a new arch Trump envisions in between the Lincoln Memorial and Arlington National Cemetery. To say that Donald Trump is out of touch would be an understatement. And that is one of the key themes that Karl Rove and other Republicans keep pointing out.
Karl Rove makes the point that I'm hearing from more and more Republicans that they just feel like they can't count on Trump right now to talk about what they need him to talk about barreling into a midterms year.
And what the Republicans say they need from Trump is a clear plan and vision for tackling higher prices, or what has been called affordability. But Trump keeps calling affordability a hoax.
There's this fake narrative that the Democrats talk about, affordability. They just say the word. It doesn't mean anything to anybody. They just say it. Affordability. The word affordability is a con job by the Democrats.
A con job. While Republicans in Congress are paying a steep price now for Donald Trump. In polling on the generic ballot question of which party in Congress voters prefer, Democrats now have a double-digit lead. It's the largest margin in a decade and the kind of spread that comes with a swing of 40 seats in the U.S. House. Moderates and independents are abandoning the GOP mostly thanks to Donald Trump. His numbers among those crucial election voters over the last year have crashed.
Look, in January, Donald Trump's net approval rating among independents was about even, -1 point. Not too hot to trot, but not too bad either. Now, whoosh, we're talking about 43 points underwater come December. That is a decline of 42 points on his net approval rating. Donald Trump is hanging out with Jacques Cousteau. That is how far underwater Donald Trump is with independents at this point. Now, what issues are driving this decline in Trump's approval rating, his net approval rating? Well, let's look at two of the key issues, right? The economy, the reason that Donald Trump was elected to a second term back in January, he was in pretty good shape at +9 points on the net approval rating. But look, come December, 16 points underwater. That is a decline, doing the math quickly here, of 25 points for Donald Trump on the key issue of the day, the economy, the reason he got a second term. And then, of course, immigration, which Donald Trump has really focused in on during his second term in office, something he has been focusing on since he first ran for the presidency all the way back in 2015. Well, in January, he was 9 points above water on the issue. Now he's 6 points below water on the issue. So on the key issues of the economy, inflation, going in the wrong direction for Donald Trump.
Everything for Trump and the Republican Party is going in the wrong direction. A lot can change between now and the midterms, but alarm bells and warning signs are everywhere for the GOP. And Republican influencers, including Karl Rove, are increasingly anxious. By the way, one of Donald Trump's top economic advisors is acknowledging the administration is going to face a refund mess if the Supreme Court rules against Donald Trump's tariff authority.
People who pay the tariff, if there is a refund, the people who actually paid for the good, the importer in most cases, they're the ones who'd be the first line of defense for refunding the tariff. But I really, really don't think that's going to happen. It'd be very complicated. And then that person would be responsible for allocating the tariff refund to the appropriate folks.
That sounds like a mess.
Yes, it is a mess. And that's why I think the Supreme Court wouldn't do it.
Should U.S. Citizens expect a $2,000 proposal? Is the White House committed to making that happen?
The White House is committed to making that happen, yes. And we are currently exploring all legal options.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Jackie, who wrote, "Gotta love when the rats get cornered." I hear you. I look forward to reading your comments about Karl Rove slamming Donald Trump and saying that Trump has gone way too far. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.